Welcome back to another video on Gearsaw Studios, and today I'm going to be discussing, get ready, 1.21.110.20, the latest preview for Bedrock Edition, and you can see the copper golems can now be completely oxidized, we have the surprise feature of shelves, and we even have an accessibility change that retextures all the dies. So without further ado, let's investigate what each of these are. Right here, you can see these are the backs of shelves, and they have a very unique texture. These are going to be absolutely fantastic to build with. You can see how their textures on the back are completely unique and can act as the bottom layer of a wall. Not to mention, they work well with stripped logs. If you're wondering how you even make them, then of course it's about stripped logs. So if we get ourselves stripped logs, if I can navigate the Bedrock navigation system, and we can craft it like this. And you can see we get 6 of them, which makes them very good. They're omnidirectional. Of course, you can't cram multiple of them in one block, but they have a unique back texture. You can press them together to make a unique railing. These are utterly fantastic. Good job, Mojang. Go ahead, you can have whatever you want in the marketplace now. This is amazing. But now we can see the shelves are, of course, a block, and they're already amazing for building, but what do they actually do? Oh yeah, paper doll in the top left. But anyways, if we press them together, you can see they're just normal, but we can stick items in them like this, and you can see some of our new die textures. The shelves can hold 1 item each. They're like an item frame, but a bit more wooden and compact, and of course with more building utility. So here, let's look up the dies, and you can see each one of them has a new texture. Purple, magenta, and pink were all just recolors. Now they have their own shapes, their own little things to hold them, very die reminiscent of real life, and they even maintain some of their shapes from the older versions. Like, of course, even if they're larger, red dye, orange dye, yellow, and green, they look very similar. Cyan had a unique one, that's unique. And of course, we can see each one of them looks completely new, so that way you should be able to tell them apart at an initial glance, even if you're colorblind. You can see green here still looks like cactus green, even if it's not that anymore. So I'd say this is an amazing change. Even though it's a little odd for servers that use them as HUD elements, still, for the general gameplay usage, these are an amazing change. Now, if we go back, you can see these shelves. Okay, they hold items, they look pretty cool, and they're easy to craft. They have a bunch of utilities. Okay, what's left? Well, if we power them with redstone, then they'll actually connect together. Look how those ones, they're split into 3. But then if I add them all together, it's one continuous rack. That way you can actually have store shelves. This, of course, is amazing. Look, you're now able to have a grocery store, so that's coming in the future for the rest of the channel. You can see these are perfectly valid racks. And yeah, these have amazing building utility. Although they can connect, they do have a limit, so you have to be careful about how you use them. Because you can see this last one is not connecting. They only go up to 3. Even if you power them, you can see it's just connecting to itself, getting rid of the dividers. So yeah, there's only so much you can do with them, but this honestly adds a bit more to their utility. Because you can see, you can alternate their textures like this by adding redstone sources. I'd say the shelf is an absolutely amazing block. Finally, before moving on to the copper golems, connecting these shelves together actually has one last thing. If you right click, it adds your entire hotbar, or at least however many you're holding, and it doesn't matter which one you interact with. Essentially, you can see here, it's a very quick way to get in and out of your hotbar. It's like a GUI selector, where it's like the hotbar mode from Java Edition. Now it's in Bedrock. So this is an amazing mechanic. I'm really happy to see shelves. It's a feature nobody asked for, but we're all going to love most likely. Unless there's some glaring flaw I'm overlooking, in that case you can comment down below and there's a decent chance I'm probably going to tell you why you're wrong. But of course, you know, that's pretty cool. Now, we can see some copper golems here. And of course, this is related to the mob, so let's look into that. To get ourselves some of the statues, first we need some copper golems in their final oxidation state. By the way, yeah, you can just spawn them like that. However, they don't do it horizontally, that's probably a bug. And you can see they're already turning into statues. Wherever they are, they'll just freeze up and turn into a statue. And I don't think they can do it mid-animation, but yeah, it doesn't take terribly long. And then once they've turned into this form, by the way, if they're named, they'll have it. If they have an item and they transform, they'll keep it. You can take it from them in that state. Then you can have your statue. And you can't craft these to my knowledge. Right here, you can see we can use the axe to progressively turn them into lighter and lighter statues. And if you do it one more time, then they'll come back to life. And if you like one specific state, wax it. Pretty simple process. Of course, everything is able to be undone. You can always unwax them. You can free them, things like that. But it's not terribly hard to get all these into their respective oxidation states. You spawn them as their final state, and then they rust over, and then finally we do whatever we want because they act like normal copper blocks from there. As in, they'll take longer to oxidize in groups, things like that. They are effectively just a copper block with a unique model. And when I mean that literally. As in, this lightning rod on the top has no unique collision. This is considered a full block. And this means that you can, of course, give him a hat. You can place more of them on it. Look, Z fighting. This looks terribly uncomfortable. But yeah, you can use these little pieces here and there, or you could even use this for building purposes. So let's put on, say, a moss carpet. And what do you know? We got a sprinkler system right here. Why is it made of completely oxidized copper? Don't ask me, ask the manufacturer. But yep, he has a little lightning rod. It's an oxidized lightning rod, which usually doesn't exist. And you can use him as a little sprinkler. So hooray! We have ourselves copper golems, we have shelves, and then we have the die accessibility. Copper tools can now spawn on enemies, so you can see a fully copper armored skeleton, things like that. Which means that toolset should be more integrated into the rest of the game, even if it's a between tier. And with that, it's the end of today's video. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. It really helps me out. And you know, I've been at this for 4.5 years. I was expecting to be a little bit further along, but who knows, it just takes time. Either way, enjoy the rest of your day. Gearsaw out.